What's up everyone, Lion Roar here, and I'm back with another really exciting Gods Unchained video because in this one, I'm going to break down my Nature mid-range regen deck. Try saying that 3 times fast. Let's talk about it. But first, join me over in Gemstone Legends. It's a fantastic match 3 RPG game, and it's players that get in early on games like this that are at the biggest advantage. Not only will you help the channel out by using the link in the description of this video, but you're going to get a free epic hero named Moralia along with a bunch of gold, gems, and potions. After you download the game, you'll have access to events which will get you even more amazing heroes and loot. Guys, wow, you don't want to miss this opportunity because you do not get it in the regular app store. Download it now, and I will see you in Gemstone Legends. Alright, so it looks like nature regen decks are picking up a little bit of steam out there. So I wanted to put my own spin on this particular deck. A lot of these cards are going to be the same as what you're used to seeing in decks like this, but I did put my own spin on it. And for that reason, it's not actually a budget deck, but there's one card in particular you can change out that will make it a budget deck, so I'm going to get to that. First, let's take a look at the nature cards here. We do have Marsh Walkers in here, which are really hard for aggro decks to deal with because they're 1/4 regen 1s, which when the aggro decks try to slam into it, they often can't kill this, or they might even get 2 for 1, or at least you deal some damage to them with it that then you can take out with other abilities or creatures. Of course, Black Jaguar is an all-star in a lot of nature decks, but particularly in the regen deck here. You're going to see with this particular deck, there's a lot of little creatures that come out early. There's sort of mid-game removal and reset, and then there's a late-game big baddies. So that's what you're going to see with this. We have Canopy Barrages, which are great removal, as is Lightning Strike. Then we have Rabid Bear, which actually comes out at the 3-drop spot, but is relatively big because if you're Frenzied, it gets +1 Strength and Confused. So it could be potentially a 4/4 for only 3 mana. Spring Harvest is card advantage, so you'll see a couple of card advantage spells in here as well. Celestial Stag just comes out as a 3/3 for 3, but is also card advantage. So you can see this is where I said that the mid game is kind of reset. So your early creatures are probably coming out. If you get to do damage with it, great, but you're probably just using it as 1/1 removal, and then you need to replace those cards. Nefarious Briar is a 3/4 for 4 with regen 1. This is a cool creature. It's got Roar, remove 4 durability from your opponent's relic. So it's a little bit of potential removal too. And so if you're patient and you can hang on to this whenever your opponent plays that relic, it's basically just gone because there's not a lot of relics out there that have more than 4 durability. We also have Wildfire, which is removal. Deal 1 damage to each of your opponent's creatures, but this is one of the things that makes this synergy really work for this deck. Give +1/+1 and regen +1 to your wild creatures. Then we have Bladefly, which is again sort of this mid-game reset. Like when you run out of creatures, you can throw these out there. Now, I really like Mooncrazed Cyclops, but take note, Bladefly and Mooncrazed Cyclops don't have regen. Doesn't matter though, because you have cards like Wildfire. This is a 4/4 for 4 confused at the end of your turn. If you're frenzied, gain +1/+1, and so this thing can keep growing. Really hard to deal with. Then we have a 4/5 for 4 starving Sabertooth. After this creature attacks a creature, if you're frenzied, gain +1 regen. So that, you know, that can keep gaining regen as well, which you're going to see matters. The Jaguar Staff is a 5 mana 2/2 relic with Blitz. After your god attacks, summon a Black Jaguar. So not only is this really creature removal because it's coming out and doing a little bit of damage and can do it right away, but you also leave that Black Jaguar behind too. Trial of the Hydra is another spell that really matters in this deck, and it's why you do want regen creatures in here, of course, but they don't all have to be, especially if they're really hard to deal with creatures, because this one is going to give, and I know that the text is a little covered up here. Let's see if I can move it over. Give regen +1 to each of your wild creatures, then give all of your creatures +X, where X is their regen amount. Then we just have some late game stuff that you should hopefully win the game with if it gets to this point. We have a Brazen Moose, a 6/6 for 5 that has Blessed and Confused. We have the Hunt, which is extra awesome removal. And then we have a Giant Pangolin, which is 6/4 with Armor 2 Blitz Confused, only for 6 mana. So really, it's like a 6/6 when you add the armor onto it, except that a lot of times they can't just throw something with 6 power at this. So you're usually 2 for 1ing them, or maybe even 3 for 1ing them with this. Now, as far as the neutral cards go, we have Wild Hogs because they're awesome. You probably know about Wild Hogs, and Vanguard Axewomans can be used as removal early on. Here is what is making the deck not a budget-friendly deck. That is Pyramid Warden. A 2/6 for only 2 mana that has Frontline, and Afterlife. Your opponent summons a random creature from their void. Now, this creature is really, really special in this deck because if you're able to give this thing Regen with that 6 HP and it just keeps healing, they're never going to get that summon a random creature from their void unless they can come out with perhaps their own like lightning strike or something like that. So this is really tough to deal with, but it's also an expensive card. So if you don't have this particular card, you could also use Skeleton Heavies in this place just to kind of like keep your opponent from getting too aggressive on you at the start. And then lastly, I really like Bronze Gates. Bronze Gates are 3 mana, 2/3 bodies with Frontline, Can't Attack, and Armor 1. So really it's kind of like a 2/4, but that Armor 1 is really cool because, again, you can't just throw like a 3 strength creature at this. It's not actually going to kill it. And at that point, you're like you're 2 for 1ing your opponent, or at least dealing some extra damage to their creatures. So this is kind of helping keep other decks from getting too aggressive on you as well. Now, if you're interested in playing this deck, I am going to put the link to this deck list in the description of this video, along with the deck code here. So this is where you click on it to copy it if you want to try it out yourself. Also, I will be doing ranked matches with this, so make sure that you're subscribed so you can see those weekend ranked matches. And also, if you enjoy videos like this, I'd appreciate it if you consider hitting that like button. And I will catch you in the next one.